this session we'll try to cover some of the important aspects of the climate change, what is taking place, whether the climate is changing or not. So we'll cover that. Then what is the basic concept of climate change, whether it is a long-term phenomena, is a short-term phenomena. So that we'll discuss. Then we'll discuss this issue. There are two group of the people. There are two school of thoughts. One group of the people, one group of researchers, they talk about the global warming. The another group is talking about the global cooling. So we'll discuss these issues. Then what are the various threatening environmental issues in context of India? And what is the scenario in South Asian countries where we are located and what kind of problems we are facing? Then we'll come to some natural hazards. So we'll cover in brief in another maybe 45 minutes to 1 hour some of these important issues. So let us talk about what do we mean by climate change. It has become a buzzword for all the planners in India, and they are talking about climate change is taking place. And most important factors which are operating behind the climate change, they talk about the emission of gases, they talk about the increase in temperature or the atmospheric temperature. And due to the climate change, various impact is visible. They are vivid in nature. Very, very explicitly, we are looking such phenomena that due to the climate change, if there is an increase in temperature, the glaciers may deplete. We also find sometimes unprecedentable rainfall. Sometimes we are getting a high rainfall. Sometimes we are getting a very drought kind of situation. Last year we had a total drought in the country. More than 200 districts we had drought. But after the drought, we have a lot of rainfall. And these in last month, many parts of our country was flooded. Even in Rajasthan, we had flood. So such kind of unpredictable situation is visible. Then at some places in last 10 years, there are events like cloud bursting. As it happened in the glaciers melting as the cloud bursting in the Kedar Ghati, all of a sudden in 24 hours, we got 325 millimeter of rainfall. 325 millimeter of rainfall in 24 hours. Similar situation occurred in the Kashmir when we got more than 270 millimeter of rainfall in 1 or 2 days. So why it is happening? Then some of the places we also see the avalanches, particularly in the winter season, peak winter season, we have avalanches in Kashmir valleys and upper parts of the Himalayas. And it is all due to the rise in temperature or various impact related to the climate change. So sometimes we have floods and sometimes we have droughts. So these are all situations, these are all impact which we find throughout the country. So what we should do? So we'll talk about it. So the climate change is taking place, it's obvious. And if the climate change is there, then what are the various impact in terms of? It is going to increase the frequency, intensity, and duration of droughts. So all over the world, this impact may be visible. And with impact, so many sectors, in particular food, water, and energy. So particularly in food, water, and energy, there may be some crisis. So we are passing through such crisis. And if there is a climate change, it will have inverse impact or the bad impact on our food grain production. If the temperature increases, some of the crops may not be grown. If the temperature goes down, some of the crops may be damaged. So such kind of situation is there. Then water scarcity, as you know that most of the people, most of the planners say that next world war will happen for the water. Due to the scarcity of water, we are facing a lot of crisis. And similarly, we have energy crisis. So this was projected by the Secretary General of Meteorological Organization, World Meteorological Organization. This was projected few years back. But what is the situation throughout the world? There are two schools of thoughts. One group of the geologists or environmentalists, they talk that there is a global warming taking place. And second group of the scientists, they are talking that global cooling is taking place. So who are correct? Whether the global warming is taking place or global cooling is taking place. Because the geological cycle takes millions of years into account. So over the years, as per the geological cycle, there has been some period of global cooling and there has been some period of global warming. So that situation prevailed on the earth for the years, and due to that cycle, some of the geologists, they still believe that there may be a chance after millions of years or thousands of years, once again the global cooling will take place. But the people who are thinking about the global cooling, they are very less in number. They are very less in number. But the people who talk about the global warming, they are large in number. So majority of the scientists, they are talking about global warming, and majority of research has been conducted on global warming. तो आप लोगों को मैंने बताया कि दो स्कूल ऑफ थॉट्स हैं. जो जियोलॉजिस्ट हैं वो मिलियंस ऑफ इयर्स के साइकिल में सोचते हैं, और उनका सोचना है कि अर्थ में कभी कभी ग्लोबल कूलिंग होती रही है, हमेशा कभी आइस एज आ जाता है, कभी वार्मिंग एज आता है. तो ये जो फिनोमेना है ये मिलियंस ऑफ इयर्स के साइकिल में चलता है. तो इस पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू से ये दो स्कूल ऑफ थॉट्स हैं जो कि इस पे काम करते हैं, इस पे रिसर्च करते हैं. So you can see the global average temperature of the earth just after the industrial revolution. जैसे कि 17वीं 18वीं शताब्दी में जैसे इंडस्ट्रियल रिवोल्यूशन यूरोप में शुरू हुआ, उसके ही बाद से ये टेम्परेचर इंक्रीज करना शुरू हुआ, क्योंकि हमने कार्बन एमिशन जगह जगह पर शुरू किए, हमने इंडस्ट्रियलाइजेशन शुरू किए. वी स्टार्टेड वेरियस एक्टिविटीज ऑन द ग्लोब, एंड इवन द व्हीकल पोल्यूशन, इंडस्ट्रियल पोल्यूशन, ऑल काइंड ऑफ एमिशन has resulted in increase of temperature. तो अभी देखिए ओवर द इयर्स जो टेम्परेचर है वो कैसे बढ़ रहा है. So average temperature is increasing, maybe half a degree in a decade. ये हमारे पास रिकॉर्ड है, इस तरह का रिकॉर्ड है, और अगले 10 सालों में हो सकता है ये हाफ ए डिग्री बढ़ जाए. So that kind of situation is prevailing. So last 50 years में अगर हाफ डिग्री बढ़ा तो अगले 10 से 15 साल में ही उसको उस डिग्री तक बढ़ जाएगा. और लास्ट ईयर इन नवंबर एंड दिसंबर, एज यू नो, हम लोगों ने एक वर्ल्ड समिट किया जिसको हम कहते हैं COP21, कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ द पार्टीज. COP21 which was organized at Paris, where all the countries participated, all the country heads were there, prime ministers were there. So they participated and they agreed on a point कि वर्ल्ड लेवल का टेम्परेचर 2 डिग्री से कभी भी बढ़ने नहीं देंगे अगले आने वाले समय में. सो दैट विल टॉक अबाउट दैट, व्हाट वाज दैट कनोटेशन. सो वी वांट टू कंट्रोल द टेम्परेचर ऑफ द अर्थ so that we can achieve the target. So this kind of situation is prevailing. As I was talking about, the geologists or environmentalists who are talking about the climate or the climatologists, they think in the millions of years of the cycle term. So millions of years back, the earth was created. So it has passed through various phases, various ages. There may be some Mesozoic age, then Paleozoic age. So likewise, there were different ages. And as you know, many of the species, many of the animals and plants died due to some kind of situation, extreme situation created. So what was such situation? So we have to learn about that. So geologists think in the millions of years of scale. So you can see that 10,000 years ago, what is the situation? 1.8 million ago, there was some different situation on the earth. And likewise, the development or the evolution has taken place. So this evolution is important to learn. And there are various ages, and gradually different species, different plants and animals grew. They evolved. Gradually they have evolved. So earlier the microorganisms, small species were there. Gradually the bigger organisms, highest class of species and plants and animals, they came. And gradually such development has taken place on the earth, and it has a millions of years of scale. So that's why the geologists, they do not agree. Now this graph is very, very important. You can see there are various period of ice age. So it is a cycle on the earth which is happening over the years. That's why the geologists, they do not think that global warming is taking place, and they talk that we have to take the millions of years in the account. So there may be a situation, maybe after 1 million years, once again, there may be ice age. So this one group of the geologists, they still think that in the bigger cycle, the situation may be reversed, and after millions of years, once again, we may face the problems like ice age. So can you see this graph? Gradually, over the years, there are the certain gap and there is a decline, and that is a period of ice age. तो आप देखिए कि बीच बीच में ये ice age आते रहे हैं, इसलिए जियोलॉजिस्ट जब भी बात करेंगे तो कभी ये नहीं कहते कि भाई ग्लोबल वार्मिंग हो रही है. हो सकता है 1 मिलियन ईयर्स के बाद फिर से ग्लोबल कूलिंग हो जाएगी. अभी 20 दिन पहले, 25 दिन पहले आपने एक न्यूज पढ़ी होगी कि गंगोत्री के ग्लेशियर्स बढ़ गए हैं. So there may be a microclimatic change in that particular region, and the glaciers has increased, expanded. वहां पे आइस ज्यादा फॉर्म हुए. तो ये भी एक थॉट है जिसको कि आपको ध्यान में रखने की जरूरत है. And there is a difference between climate and weather. क्लाइमेट जो है वो thousands of years of scale पे डिपेंड करता है, वो लॉन्ग टर्म फेनोमेना है. एंड वेदर इज a शॉर्ट टर्म फेनोमेना. तो हम जो मौसम की बात करते हैं वो वेदर की बात करते हैं. वो वेदर हमारा बीच बीच में डिस्टर्ब होता रहता है. तो whenever we talk about the temperature, when we talk about the rainfall, हम बात करते हैं वेदर की, मौसम की बात करते हैं. लेकिन जलवायु की बात हम thousands of years के स्केल में करेंगे. वे ग्रेजुअल चेंज है, ये 1-2 दिन की बात नहीं है. जैसे जैसे ये सिचुएशन चेंज होगी, पिछले 100 सालों में जो हमने गलतियां की हैं उसके कारण से जो चेंज आएगा उसको हम क्लाइमेट चेंज कह सकते हैं. उसको हम वेदर चेंज नहीं कहेंगे. वेदर चेंज इज द शॉर्ट फेनोमेना. 15-20 दिनों में, 50 दिनों में जो भी डेवलपमेंट हो रही है उसको हम वेदर से रिलेटेड डेवलपमेंट कहेंगे. सो वी कैन अंडरस्टैंड देयर इज अ डिफरेंस बिटवीन क्लाइमेट एंड वेदर. तो इसी बात को दर्शाने के लिए कि बीच बीच में ये कभी हॉट सिचुएशन आते हैं, कभी कोल्ड सिचुएशन आते हैं. सो हॉट एज एज वेल एज आइस एज इज द रिकरिंग फेनोमेना एज फार अर्थ इज कंसर्न्ड. पृथ्वी पे ये जो फेनोमेना है ये होती रही है, ये कोई नई बात नहीं है. सो व्हाट आर द कॉजेज ऑफ ग्लोबल वार्मिंग? एवरीबडी नोज, इवन आवर चिल्ड्रन नोज व्हाट वी हैव बीन डूइंग. हमने पूरे ग्लोब पर तरह तरह की डेवलपमेंट की एक्टिविटीज की. हमने जंगलों को काटा, हमने रोड बना दिए, हमने इंडस्ट्रीज खड़े कर दिए, हमने तरह तरह की पोल्यूशन व्हीकल्स ले आए. So with the development, pollution level is also increasing. So side by side, pollution graph is also going up. Growth graph is going up, and similarly the graph of the pollution is also increasing. So due to anthropogenic activities, anthropogenic means created by humans, done by humans. So they are termed as anthropogenic activities, and such anthropogenic activities are contributing to global disturbance, to increase in temperature. So you have to talk about that, how we can think about, and major cause for such changes are anthropogenic. We human beings on the earth, planet earth, are responsible for this. So what may be it is all, whatever the development has taken place, it is all at the cost of natural degradation. So we should know that what kind of damage we are doing, whether we are going to develop any machinery, any development activity is being taken, whether we are going to construct a dam. So we have to damage some part of the nature. We have to use some part of natural resources. So due to all such activities in last 1 century, lot of changes has been made, and these changes are contributing to global warming. If we see India as a country, what are the major problems and challenges we have? we are in a very vulnerable pockets. We are part of the South Asian countries, or we are part of Himalayan ecology. So you more or less you understand one thing, that if Himalayan resources are protected, conserved, then our whole climatic condition will be better in the country. If the Himalayan resources are disturbed, then it will have impact on other parts of the country. So Himalayan resources means all the forest resources as well as the ice or the glaciers are very important, and they fall in all Himalayan regions. About 17 to 18 major rivers, they emerge from Himalayas. The Ganga, the Satluj, the Brahmaputra, all the 5 rivers of Punjab, and many rivers. So about 17, 18 major rivers, they emerge, they begin from the Himalayas. So the catchment area is the Himalaya. So we need to conserve the whole Himalayan resources. And this Himalayan resources is a new mountain. As far as the geological terminology is concerned, it's a new mountain, and gradually it is evolving. So it is gradually evolving. Gradually it is evolving. It is still in formation. Then second important thing is that second issue is the loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity, you know, plants as well as animals, all the flora and fauna, we call them as a biodiversity. So due to the developmental activities, we have created a lot of problems. Earlier we used to grow more than 30 crops in our land. These days we are only growing few crops. So the crop biodiversity is also reduced due to the modern farming. Similarly, many of wild animals, wild species, birds, they have also disappeared, or they are on the verge of extinction. So we should think about the biodiversity. If the nature is protected, then only the biodiversity will be protected, and it contribute in ecological development or sustainable development. Then third thing is that whenever there is a climate change, the food security की समस्या आएगी. अगर टेम्परेचर बढ़ेगा तो कुछ क्रॉप्स ग्रो नहीं होंगे, लेकिन कुछ ठंडे प्रदेशों में कुछ क्रॉप्स ग्रो होने लगेंगे, क्योंकि वहाँ टेम्परेचर बढ़ गया तो दूसरे क्रॉप्स आ जाएंगे, लेकिन हमारी बहुत सारे क्रॉप्स डैमेज हो जाएगी अगर टेम्परेचर बढ़ रहे हैं तो ये फूड सिक्योरिटी पे सबसे बड़ा खतरा है. So that is a danger on the food security. That's why it is said that most of the vulnerable countries or the third world countries, they are going to be affected. They are going to be affected. So the food security is the issue. Then the groundwater depletion. What we are doing, whole of the northern India is known as tube wells economy. So we have dug a number of tube wells and we are withdrawing a lot of water. But हम जितना पानी ले रहे हैं उतना क्या दे रहे हैं धरती को? नहीं दे रहे हैं. तो ये डेफिसिट है. और we are moving towards unsustainable development. The water table रोज या साल में नीचे जाता है. 3 फीट 2 फीट नीचे जाता है. तो अगले 10 साल में 30 फीट नीचे चला जाएगा या 50 फीट नीचे चला जा रहा है. So we have to think about that, how much water we can withdraw. And as a technical people, as a civil engineer, as an environmentalist, can we recharge the groundwater? So we'll talk about on some certain solutions in terms of recharge of water. Then drinking water and sanitation. As you know, the Swachh Bharat Abhiyan has been started. Yesterday also we worked on that Swachh Bharat Abhiyan once again, which was started in 2014 by our Prime Minister. So sanitation is the biggest problem, and drinking water or the potable water is also a challenge. So in some of the session, we'll try to see how we can achieve the target of sanitation and what the important things need to be done under sanitation. तो हमें स्वच्छता के लिए क्या क्या ऐसा काम करें ताकि हम लोगों को अच्छी टेक्नोलॉजी दे पाएं और वो स्वच्छता के लिए आगे आएं. और ड्रिंकिंग वाटर या पोर्टेबल वाटर को कैसे मेंटेन करें, कैसे हम ट्रीटमेंट करें. क्या आपका कैंट का वाटर बहुत अच्छा है या नहीं है, उसके ऊपर हम भी चर्चा करेंगे कल को. Then drought and famine situation in India, it is another big challenge. So abhi 1 month back there was a drought in more than 200 districts of our country. We were facing a lot of problem, but after 1 month when the rainy season started, then all the problems more or less it was solved. In southern region, in the Deccan Plateau, in the central region, we had a lot of rain these days. Lot of rain in Mumbai. Last 2-3 months, it was raining heavily. So lot of rain. Even in the last week, there was a flood in Hyderabad. So that such kind of situation is there, but drought is a recurring feature in our country. My friends from the Bundelkhand and Jhansi, they know that in last 3 years, it was a continuous drought in these regions. Only in this year, they have got some rain. So all the farmers, they were deprived and they were facing lot of problems. Then we are contributing a lot in river water pollution. We are injecting lot of effluents coming out of the industries. So what to do about it? So we'll talk about certain issues. And even Government of India has started a program called Namami Gange project. Can we clean all the effluents, can we clean or treat all the effluents which is going to the river Ganga? So that is a project called Namami Gange project. So solid waste management, liquid waste management and effluent management. These are the three things which they want to do under the Namami Gange project. But in country like ours, we have number of rivers. Similarly, we have to initiate number of Namami rivers project, like maybe for Yamuna, maybe for Satluj, maybe for other rivers. So we have to talk about how to manage the pollution so that it does not go to the water, particularly the river water. So all the river waters are polluted these days. So we are not following the norms. Let us see the South Asian situation where we are located. So whole of the South Asia, where the agriculture is a major activity. दक्षिणी एशिया में जहां पर हमारा देश फॉल करता है, उस जगह पर सबसे बड़ी समस्या ये है कि हमारी 43-45% जो लोग हैं उनको एम्प्लॉयमेंट एग्रीकल्चर में मिलता है. तो जैसे ही कोई क्लाइमेट चेंज की सिचुएशन आएगी तो एग्रीकल्चर अफेक्टेड होगा. कहीं ड्रॉट होता है, कहीं रेनफॉल ज्यादा होता है, तो इससे एग्रीकल्चर इज गोइंग टू बी अफेक्टेड. एंड एग्रीकल्चर इज कंट्रीब्यूटिंग अबाउट 11 to 15% ऑफ GDP. In our country, it is contributing about 14-15% of our GDP. तो 15% हमारे GDP का एग्रीकल्चर से आता है. तो जब भी क्लाइमेट चेंज की बात होगी तो एग्रीकल्चर प्रभावित होगा और हमारी पूरी इकोनॉमी ध्वस्त हो सकती है. सो वी हैव टू थिंक कि साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज में किस तरह की सिचुएशंस इमर्ज कर रही है. सो ग्लोबल टेम्परेचर, मीन टेम्परेचर इन द साउथ एशियन कंट्रीज is increasing, and there is a study in last 50 years it has increased from 0.1 to 0.3 degree per decade. So at present the increase in temperature is 0.1 to 0.3. But what is the situation? Maybe in another 20 years it may increase up to 1 degree. So अभी तक तो केवल आधे डिग्री से नीचे तक गया 2000 तक. लेकिन जिस तरह की सिचुएशन है, आने वाले समय में हाफ अ डिग्री बढ़ जाए या 1 डिग्री बढ़ जाए तो बहुत ही मुश्किल हो जाएगा. और रेनफॉल हैज आल्सो, ट्रेंड ऑफ रेनफॉल हैज आल्सो गॉन डाउन, व्हिच द स्टडी conducted between the period of 60 to 2000. It also suggests the quantity of rainfall has gone down, and the sea level has gone up due to the increase in temperature, due to the melting of the glaciers. Sea level has also gone up from 1 to 3 millimeter. उनको बोलो ना कि अभी प्रोग्राम चल रहा है, अभी तो नहीं मिल सकते. उनको बोलो कि आफ्टरनून में मिलेंगे, ठीक है, या आधे घंटे के बाद सेशन खत्म होगा 1:30 बजे. So some parts we are facing the heat waves, droughts, floods and the tropical cyclones. So that kind of feature may be a regular feature in the South Asian countries. As you know, we are surrounded by the sea from the 3 sides. So we face all the problems in the sea region, and that sea region, sometimes we have a cyclone, tropical cyclones. So they create problem and it may cause damage to our property, assets and human life, what we call disaster. So vulnerability in the South Asian country is more, and it has been projected that between the period up to 2100, from 1990, the annual mean temperature is projected to rise by 4.8 degrees centigrade. So can you imagine, by 2100, if it is going up to 4.8 degrees centigrade, then what will happen? Lot of glaciers will melt down, and the countries like Maldives, country like Kiribati, country like Norway, Sweden, Japan, and even some parts of our country, it will get submerged into the sea. Sea level will rise, means many parts, many islands, small islands, they are going to be submerged. So like in Maldives, it is a very, very vulnerable islands, it's group of islands. So the people from there, it may be evacuated. There is a small island in the Pacific Ocean. That island is named as Kiribati. The highest or the highest point on that particular land is 8 meters. So it's a very, very flat island located in the Pacific Sea, and it is very, very vulnerable. There are about 1 lakh population in that country, and it has been decided that they are going to be rehabilitated from this place, evacuated from this place, and they will be settled, they will be resettled in Australia and some nearby countries. That kind of situation is already prevailing. So mean sea level may rise up to 70 centimeters. So it will be a havoc. So the next century is going to be a very, very challenging. And that's why what we can conclude here, that in South Asian countries, there is a lot of problem. And in South Asian countries, which are the vulnerable countries? Philippines. Philippines में सारी समस्याएं आती हैं. वहां पर टाइफून भी आता है, वहां पर अर्थक्वेक भी आता है, और वहां पर फ्लड भी आते हैं, और हेवी रेनफॉल भी होती है. So Philippines is one country which is vulnerable to all kind of hazards. Same is the Thailand. You can think about it. Always there is a problem. Recently also there is a typhoon in China and Vietnam. Then Bangladesh is also vulnerable. Indonesia, Maldives, Sri Lanka, and finally India. So we are all in a vulnerable pockets of South Asian countries. So दक्षिणी पश्चिमी जो देश हैं सारे के सारे अफेक्टेड हैं, और वो कुछ ना कुछ उनमें समस्या आने वाली. So global warming is going to cause, there is a decline, maybe decline in the rice yield production, and on an average about 50% by the year 2100 compared to the today's situation or 1990 situation. So in all 7 countries, there will be a reduction in food grain production. So what will do the people? What the people will do? And even the forest land is being declining every year, and we are cutting a lot of forest in the tropical region. As you know, for the whole of the globe or whole of the planet, these tropical forests are known as the lungs of the earth. ये जो ट्रॉपिकल फॉरेस्ट है, जो विषुवत रेखा के आसपास पाए जाते हैं, इक्वेटर के पास में, चाहे वो लैटिन अमेरिकन कंट्रीज के जो फॉरेस्ट हैं, या एशियन कंट्रीज के फॉरेस्ट हैं, या कुछ अफ्रीकन कंट्रीज के ये जो फॉरेस्ट हैं, they are very, very important forest. They are termed as the lungs for the earth. Why it is so? Because they help in cleaning the air. They produce a lot of oxygen. So these forests are very, very important. So whenever there is a cut in the forest, all kind of problems will be multiplied. So whatever we are talking about the climate change, if the forest or the deforestation is taking place at a rapid pace, the problem will be multiplied, और हमारे लिए situations और भी खतरनाक हो जाएगी. In India, what kind of problems we are facing? We have a problem of earthquakes in 70% of our land mass. Then there may be a flood in 40 million hectares of our land. Then the drought situation is prevailing in 68%. So you can see the drought is the major problem in southern part, central part, and eastern and western part as well. So the drought is the major common feature towards all of the country, whole of the country. The second important problem is the earthquake. 60% of our land mass is prone to earthquake. But some of the earthquakes which are devastating in nature may be of above 5 or above 6 of the Richter scale. But you know, in the earth, there may be thousands of earthquakes taking place every day. But which are of the damaging nature more than 6 of the Richter scale, they are very less in number. They occur 1 or 2 in a year, or maybe 5, 6 in a year throughout the globe, and some they go for even more than 8. So the earthquake is a very, very common feature. Every day, thousands of earthquakes take place inside the earth, but they are not visible. They are not, we are not able to gauge them because they are very of low intensity. But flood is also a common feature in the eastern part, in UP, Bihar, Assam is the major state. So these states, they face the problem of flood during the rainy season particularly. 50 million hectares of the land is affected due to the flood every year. And cyclone, 7,500 kilometer, we have a coastal line. जो हमारी समुद्र तटीय जो क्षेत्र है लगभग 7,500 किलोमीटर लंबा है, और इसमें साइक्लोन कभी भी आ सकता है. कभी वो अरब सागर के खाड़ी से आता है, कभी वो बंगाल की खाड़ी से आता है. तो ये जो साइक्लोन है, ये हमारे लिए एक मेजर फीचर है, और ये बीच बीच में उभरते हैं, और ये समुद्र तटीय क्षेत्रों को प्रभावित करते हैं. सो यू कैन सी द ज्योग्राफिकल सिचुएशन ऑफ द कंट्री. वी आर सराउंडेड बाय सी फ्रॉम द 3 रीजन. हम लोग 3 तरफ से समुद्र से घिरे हैं, और ऊपर हिमालय पहाड़ है. ऊपर हिमालय पहाड़ से इसका ड्रेनेज देखिए, सारी नदियां वहीं से निकल रही हैं, चाहे वो इंडस है, चाहे जो भी रिवर है, चाहे वो नेपाल, भूटान, बांग्लादेश, और सबको ये फीड कर रही है. सारी हमारी नेबरिंग कंट्रीज को फीड करती है. सारी नदियां कहाँ से निकल रही हैं? सब निकल रही हैं ऊपर हिमालय से. सो आप ये रिवर सिस्टम को ध्यान में रखते हो, इसलिए हम कहते हैं कि हिमालय इज द बिगेस्ट रिसोर्स एंड वी नीड टू मैनेज सच रिसोर्स. सो हमें हिमालय को मैनेज करने की जरूरत है. सो हिमालयन रिसोर्सेज को मैनेज करने की जरूरत है, और हमारा पूरा का पूरा क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन हिमालय के ऊपर डिपेंड करता है. सो इफ हिमालय इज अफेक्टेड, आवर होल क्लाइमेटिक कंडीशन विल बी अफेक्टेड. सो क्लाइमेटिक रिस्क मैप्स इज देयर. दिस इज अ मैप. ये मैप है हमारा जो कि क्लाइमेटिक सिचुएशन को दिखाता है. अलग अलग जगहों पर अलग अलग प्रॉब्लम्स हैं. हिमालयन रीजन में मेजर अर्थक्वेक, लैंडस्लाइड्स की समस्याएं हैं. जो हमारा वेस्टर्न पार्ट है वो थार डेजर्ट है, वो उसमें ड्रॉट सिचुएशन है, वो पूरा ड्राई है. सदर्न पार्ट में भी ड्रॉट सिचुएशन है. कुछ एरियाज में फ्लड आते हैं जहां पे हमारे रिवर वैली सिस्टम है, जहां पर नदियां हैं वहीं पर बाढ़ आते हैं. तो ये हमारे रिस्क मैप पूरे हिंदुस्तान का बनाया गया है. और हिंदुस्तान में आपको पता हो कि 2004 तक कोई बड़ी प्लानिंग नहीं थी, लेकिन 2004 में जब सुनामी आई, then we have developed our laws. So now there is a 2005 that Disaster Management Act has been passed in the country. Before that, we were not much worried, and we were not putting more attention to the disaster management. But after 2005, we have developed a Disaster Management Act. We have developed a plan, and in 2016, we have a full plan for the next 15 years. तो अगले 15 साल के लिए हम लोगों ने एक डिजास्टर मैनेजमेंट प्लान बनाया है. उसके बारे में भी हम डिस्कस करेंगे. नाउ आई एम गोइंग टू डिबेट अ इशू. आर हिमालयन ग्लेशियर्स मेल्टिंग, और द रिवर लाइक गंगा इज गोइंग टू बी ड्राइड आफ्टर सम ईयर्स? क्या हमारी गंगा जैसी जो नदी है वो आप कुछ सालों में सूख जाएगी? सो दिस इज अ डिबेट, दिस इज अ क्वेश्चन which I am going to deal upon. Ki everybody talks about the glaciers are melting, but whether it will result into the drying of the river like Ganga. The Ganga is the perennial river, as you know. सालों भर ये चलती है, सालों भर इसमें पानी होता है. They are in perennial in nature. But the question is that some of the scientists or some of the people, they are raising this issue whether Ganga will dry or not. What is going to happen? Let us ask the first question. Are Himalayan glaciers melting? So we will answer this question as well as the question whether the Ganga is going to be dried or not. The first important point which I am going to raise, that Himalaya, as you told, it is a major resource. इससे 8 बड़ी बड़ी नदियां निकलती हैं जिसमें 40% फ्रेश वाटर होता है, चाहे वो इंडस है, ब्रह्मपुत्र है और गंगा है. दीज आर द 3 बिग रिवर्स, इंडस, which is a all the small rivers are meeting with the Indus, तो इंडस के साथ मिल जा रही हैं. उसी तरह से गंगा के साथ जो रिवर्स हैं इसकी ट्राइब्यूटरीज मिलके गंगा रिवर सिस्टम बनाती हैं. उसी तरह से ब्रह्मपुत्र, ये तीन बड़ी नदियां हैं. इन तीन बड़ी नदियों में ज्यादा से ज्यादा जो फ्रेश वाटर है, इट इज कमिंग फ्रॉम हिमालय. सो नाउ लेट अस talk about whether the Himalayan glaciers are melting. So can you see the figures? They are all the figures which shows that glaciers are melting. So the answer is yes. All such glaciers are melting. Their size is decreasing. Or another term, we say that it is retreating. It is going back and back. It is only visible on the top of the mountains. Earlier it was visible even below the mountains. Now gradually due to the decline in the glaciers or the melting of the glaciers due to the increase in temperature, these glaciers have melted and it is melting. So it will have some impact on the perennial rivers. So glaciers are melting. Various studies conducted on the glaciers, they also suggest that most of such glaciers are melting. In one of the studies which was conducted between 1980 and 90, they conducted a study taking a sample of 612 glaciers. How many glaciers are there in the Himalayan and Tibetan regions, China and Indian regions? There are about 20,000 small and bigger glaciers. How many? 20,000 bigger and small glaciers. So one study was conducted taking a sample of 612 glaciers, and with this study it suggests that yes, 95% of such glaciers were found melting, found decreasing. So this was a study. Similar study was conducted between 1990 to 2005, and they also reported that in 95% of cases glaciers are melting. तो एक बात साफ नजर आती है कि ग्लेशियर्स मेल्ट कर रहे हैं और डिफरेंट स्टडीज इसको सजेस्ट कर रही है. एक केवल 20 दिन पहले की एक स्टडी आई जिसको कि आपने न्यूज़पेपर में पढ़ा होगा कि गंगोत्री के पास के ग्लेशियर्स का साइज बढ़ गया है. ये वाडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हाइड्रोलॉजी रुड़की ने एक स्टडी कंडक्ट किया था. उसके बेसिस पर उन्होंने ये प्रोजेक्ट किया और दिखाया कि ग्लेशियर्स जो है गंगोत्री के आसपास वो इंक्रीज कर गया है. So that may be a short time phenomena. It's not a long term phenomena. So वो short time के लिए वो जरूर increase कर गया है, लेकिन in majority of the cases these glaciers are melting. So that is a conclusion done by most of the studies. तो इसमें बहुत सारी studies की गई और ये सारी चीजें पाई गई. I was talking about why the Himalayan region is important. It is running over 200 kilometers from east to west and comprising of 60,000 square kilometer of ice. इसमें ice का जो area है 60,000 square kilometer, इतना बड़ा area है. And it is falling between the Hindu Kush to Himalayan glaciers. Hindu Kush Karakoram Himalayan glaciers are the largest area, and it feeds to the number of rivers like Indus, like other rivers. It is fed by such glaciers. So ice covers are melting, and it has been estimated between the period of 2003 and 9, 174 gigatons of water it was lost due to the melting. इतना रिजर्वायर, इतना बड़ा वॉल्यूम ऑफ वाटर जो था धीरे धीरे मेल्ट कर गया है. तो इस तरह की लॉसेस हो रही है और ये समस्या काफी बढ़ने वाली है. Then there is another situation due to the increase in pollution in the Asian countries. There is a Asian brown cloud. हिमालय के ऊपर एक ब्लैक ब्राउन कलर की एक रिंग डेवलप हो गई है ड्यू टू द ऑल कार्बन एमिशन, एंड दैट रिंग is creating problem, and gradually the temperature in the upper zones, upper reaches, the temperature is also going up. So that is a bad indication. तो ये जो ब्राउन क्लाउड डेवलप हुई है उससे गर्मी ऊपर के हिमालय के क्षेत्रों में भी बढ़ रही है. तो ये हमें देखना पड़ेगा कि हाउ वी कैन check the pollution. But this is the present present situation due to the vehicular pollution, due to the emission coming from the houses, due to the burning of various kind of fuel. So we are getting a Asian brown cloud. इसको हम Asian brown cloud के नाम से जानते हैं. So as I was talking about, there are about 20,000 glaciers in the India and China and the upper Himalayan regions, and most of such reports says that glaciers are melting. So number of the scholars who have studied the problems related to the glaciers, they suggest that the glaciers are really melting. So that is kind of conclusion. So let us conclude that most of the things are there. But I raised the issue whether the river Ganga is going to be dried if the glaciers are melting. What do you say? Let me ask this question to our students who are sitting in the studio. What do you say, that Ganga will be dried after some time if the glaciers are melting at a very fast rate? What will happen? What do you think at the other side also? क्या ये गंगा सूख जाएगी? According to study, it says. So most of our participants, they say that Ganga may be dried. What we see, the glaciers, the rate of the depletion of glaciers. So according to that rate, the Ganga may get dried. But some of the scientists, they have concluded based on some studies that the contribution of the Ganga water is more from the rain. 70 to 75% of the water coming in the river Ganga is from the rain, from the different bigger catchment area, from the Himalayas. So all the rainwater is making it more perennial in comparison to the ice water or the glacier water. So it was concluded based on that study that still 75% or 70% of the contribution will come from the rain. So the Ganga river is not going to be dried all of a sudden. It may take long time because more and more rainwater is prevailing, more and more rainwater is there in the Ganga river. So गंगा नदी अभी इतनी जल्दी नहीं सूखेगी क्योंकि 70 से 75% जो पानी है वो बारिश का पानी इसमें आता है, रुकता है. वो बड़ी बड़ी पहाड़ियों से उसके कैचमेंट एरिया से बहकर फिर गंगा में आता है. तो ये बारिश के पानी से गंगा अभी तो नहीं सूखेगी, लेकिन हो सकता है बाद के सालों में, 50 सालों में, 100 सालों में इसमें ऐसी सिचुएशन आ सकती है जब रेन भी कम हो जाएंगे. तो ये कुछ स्टडी कंडक्ट की है जिन्होंने गंगोत्री ग्लेशियर्स को स्टडी किया है जहां से कि गंगा निकलती हैं. वहां पे ये पाया गया है कि गंगा अभी सूखेगी नहीं. सो देयर इज अ स्टडी कंडक्टेड बाय डॉक्टर रामेश्वर बली. ही इज अ क्लाइमेटोलॉजिस्ट वर्किंग एट लखनऊ यूनिवर्सिटी. सो ही हैज कंडक्टेड स्टडी. और जो रिसेंट स्टडी आपके वाडिया इंस्टीट्यूट ऑफ हाइड्रोलॉजी ने, रुड़की ने किया, वो भी यही सजेस्ट कर रहा है कि वहां के ग्लेशियर्स अभी मेल्ट नहीं हुए हैं गंगोत्री के. वहां पर इंक्रीज हो गया है, पिछले 5-7 सालों में साइज जो है इंक्रीज हो गया है. तो अभी हम कुछ पक्की तरह से नहीं कह सकते कि गंगा सूख जाएगी आने वाले समय में. सो दिस वाज अ क्वेश्चन. सो दिस क्वेश्चन यू मे नाउ आंसर टू द अदर पीपल बेस्ड ऑन द रिसर्च स्टडीज. लेकिन सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज क्या है? सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज है उन ग्लेशियर्स के नीचे देयर इज अ सेफ्टी बेल्ट. व्हाट वी कॉल सेफ्टी बेल्ट. These forests are the safety belt. If the Himalayan forests are damaged, then what will happen? The soil erosion will take place. The climatic condition will be worsened. The temperature will go up, and the gradually glaciers will also decline. तो ये जो सेफ्टी बेल्ट है जो हिमालयन के, वो बड़े इंपॉर्टेंट है. तो आपके पास एक दिन के बाद एक मिस्टर जगत सिंह जंगली जी आएंगे जो कि उत्तराखंड के फॉरेस्ट के ऊपर काम कर रहे हैं. वो आपको बताएंगे कि ये ग्लेशियर्स पिघल कैसे रहे हैं और इन जंगलों का महत्व क्या है, क्या इंपॉर्टेंस है. व्हाट इज द इंपॉर्टेंस ऑफ सच फॉरेस्ट. एंड ही हैज डेवलप्ड अ मिक्स्ड फॉरेस्ट इन हिज विलेज इटसेल्फ. तो उनसे हम सुनेंगे कि ये फॉरेस्ट को बचाना कितना जरूरी है अगर हम ग्लेशियर्स को बचाना चाहते हैं. सो दे आर वर्किंग एज अ सेफ्टी बेल्ट. तो ये बात हमें समझने की जरूरत है. सो there will be lot of problem if this such problem is continuing, and due to the climate change the food security issue which will be the major issue. फूड सिक्योरिटी की सबसे भारी समस्या हमारे पास आएगी और 75% एरिया में फूड क्रॉप जो हैं वो कुछ ना कुछ तरह से अफेक्टेड होंगे और इस पे सबसे बड़ा चैलेंज जो है वो फार्मर्स को झेलना पड़ेगा. सो फार्मर्स आर गोइंग टू बी मोर अफेक्टेड ड्यू टू द क्लाइमेट चेंज and the food security is going to be problem. और आपको बता दें कि पिछले 100 सालों में हमने जितनी भी क्रॉप्स थे हमारे पास धीरे धीरे 5 या 6 छोड़कर हमने 75% जो फूड क्रॉप्स थे सब खत्म कर दिए. Only we are dependent on few crops these days. Only rice, potato, maize, wheat. So only few crops are available. Other crops have been damaged due to the modern agriculture. We have left growing all small crops like millets, like oil seeds and all such crops we have lost. अब अगर गांव में आप जाएंगे फार्मर्स के पास उनके पास बीज ही नहीं है क्योंकि वो धीरे धीरे डिपेंडेंट हो गए बाहरी दुनिया पे. पहले वो बीज अपना खुद तैयार करके रखते थे, अब धीरे धीरे उनके पास सारे बीज खत्म है. सो दैट इज अ मेजर प्रॉब्लम विच द फार्मर्स आर गोइंग टू फेस. अगर गर्मी बढ़ गई तो पहले उनके पास कुछ ऐसे क्रॉप्स होते थे जो कि वो गर्मी में उगा लेते थे. वो टेम्परेचर रेजिस्टेंट होती थी, गर्मी में भी उग सकती थी. मध्य जेठ मतलब कि मई जून में भी उग सकती थी, लेकिन वो सारे क्रॉप्स उनके पास अब नहीं है, उनके पास ना बीज है. तो व्हाट दे विल डू? सो दैट इज द सिचुएशन ऑफ फूड सिक्योरिटी. फूड क्राइसिस विल मे अकर. सो इट विल चेंज टू द हंगर एंड ओबेसिटी. एंड इंडिया इज फेसिंग टू काइंड ऑफ प्रॉब्लम्स. शहरों में 1/3 लोग खा खा कर इतने मोटे हैं, दे आर ओबेसिटी. दे आर फेसिंग अनदर प्रॉब्लम. और 1/4 of our population, 25% of our population, they are facing the problem of hunger and all such things. So this is a situation prevailing in our country. Now, my dear friends, in order to mitigate the climate change issue, Government of India has set up 8 missions. हिंदुस्तान ने क्लाइमेट चेंज को टैकल करने के लिए जून 2008 में 8 मिशन बनाए हैं. क्या क्या मिशन है? फर्स्ट इज द नेशनल सोलर मिशन. सो लेट अस गो फॉर द मोर एंड मोर रिन्यूएबल एनर्जी रिसोर्सेस. सो मिशन नंबर 1 is the solar mission. Our Prime Minister has advocated a lot, and lot of solar power plants are coming in Gujarat, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, and various other parts of the country. So National Solar Mission is one. Second is the National Mission on Enhanced Energy Efficiency. So we have to make our all technology energy efficient. Gradually, we are going to take various kind of measures like CFL bulbs have come, all diode or the small all small equipment has come, but which is our most less energy intensive. Earlier it was high energy intensive. So we are trying to save the energy by making it more and more efficient. Even there is a loss of in the thermal power plant. From the thermal power plant, when it is coming to the different houses, different localities, about 30% loss is there. So can we minimize such losses? Then there is National Mission on Sustainable Habitat. So we have 20 hot spots. There are some important biodiversity hot spots in our country. About 17 to 20 hot spots are there, and there are certain ecological system prevailing in these habitats. So can we protect that habitat or ecological system? Then National Water on Mission. So National Water on Mission, they are talking about managing all the river resources or river bodies, Ganga, Yamuna, Brahmaputra, Krishna, Kaveri. So National Water Mission is there. The National Mission on Sustaining the Himalayan Ecosystem. So you can understand that importance is given to the Himalayan ecosystem. So we have to talk about the Himalayan ecosystem. And National Mission on Green India. So we have to make our whole country green. So for that, afforestation, plantation is being done. And we are also talking about green energy, green buildings, green technologies. So what are these green technologies, green buildings? We'll discuss in some of the sessions. Then there is a special mission on sustainable agriculture, organic farming, natural farming, all such mission is there. So Government of India is trying to advocate organic farming as well to protect our natural crops. Then there is a national mission on strategic knowledge for the climate change. So climate change के ऊपर जो knowledge हमें चाहिए, जो study चाहिए, वो हमें conduct करना है और पूरे देश के लिए एक पूरा plan बनाना है कि climate change के लिए हम किस तरह के knowledge और किस तरह की planning हमें चाहिए.